So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. I probably should have started the video when I found my pencil. Where did I put the pencil? Damn it. I had a pencil before. Oh, why don't I have it now? I had a pencil. So, we are cutting this piece from here to here. We're actually going to go past because it's going to allow us to put a joint over here somewhere. And then that'll make it easier to click the joint together instead of trying to click it under the counter. And this is going to be under the stove anyways, so you won't even really see it unless you're looking for it. So the planks themselves go actually 5 feet. So that puts that right there. So it doesn't even end up landing on... It doesn't end up even landing on the... where the stove sits. I'm going to grab... I think it's in my pants actually. Now that I think about it. Looking for my... pencil. Wherever I put it. Man, that's silly. But I don't have my pencil. Got markers. And Seattle. You know, I probably left my pencil in the truck by accident. Give me a second. I'm just looking for the pencil. That's all we're doing. Looking for a pencil. 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 I got the most gorgeous people in the life. He is the most beautiful. Damn it! I don't know where I put. Well, the pencil's gone now. I don't want to use a marker. It's just gonna. I need something that can rub off. Pencil, we're looking for the pencil. Yeah, I should have started the live before. I didn't realize I didn't have my pencil. Fuck. Give me a second. Give me a second. I gotta figure this out quick. Cause now I got two more boxes. One more piece of flooring. So the good thing is we're gonna make this wrap around this cabinet. It is floating floor, and I guess the only way to really do this is to use a knife, but I can't mess up at all. And I can't even see the mark actually. Okay, so we're gonna go around this corner here, which is 51. Whoa. 51 inches. I'm going to bring that up top here. 51 inches is right there. Man, you can't even see that mark. That's crazy. How am I supposed to... I could use a marker, but I'm pretty sure the marker will not come off once it's on. It was crazy because I had a pencil last night, but I don't have a pencil tonight. Pencil last night, no pencil tonight. Okay, grab the marker. Hang on, just 1 second. You know, I do know one pencil, actually. Okay. I guess this is the closest thing to a pencil I'm going to have. It's inside this square. This is a great idea for a square. There's just one flaw. This is basically something you can set a pitch to. Let's say you have like a rafter pitch that you want to make an angle on. Let's say you want to do a 10-12 like this. You can use this knob, move it, make your mark. We're actually going to test the marker to see if I can get it off of this, because it's just a test piece, right? Let's let that dry for a second. Right there. I want to see if it actually comes off. We'll use this microfiber cloth I got kicking around. Let me get it wet. I want to see if this actually comes off, because this product's actually pretty good when it comes to pencil lead. Let's see if this comes off here. Oh yeah, there's a reason why they call it permanent marker. Good thing we didn't use that. It's not coming off at all. Not even a little bit. But we did find a pencil. We just must extract it. So I was telling you guys about this square here, right? So it's a good product made by Power Fist. I like these notches here. Great for like making scribes and stuff. The problem is this piece. And the fact that I gotta take this off somehow. That's actually how I get the pencil out, if I press on that ring. Like so, oh wow, you could store your pencil in the square. Great idea, not. This is how you get it out. So it's okay. It's an okay idea. It's not the greatest idea, but it's okay. But so now you want to flip the square over, you run into a problem with making things square. Of course, you could unscrew this, and then the square works perfectly fine. I really don't like this thing that you can hook it on, because sometimes it gets stuck. If you go to put it against something, and let's say you want to square something, it gets in the way, just like this piece does. So I'm going to be returning this square because I need versatility. And I just feel like this is only good sometimes. Not good all the time. You always got to be flipping it around. So you'd have to take it apart, if you want to use this square and then hide that piece, then you're good. But so this only actually works with the grooves on the back. So if I want, I could only make cuts on this side, but I can't make them on this side because this gets in the way now. Right? And like, yeah, so sure you can press the pin, but now it's too high up. So it's really, it's useless for what I would need it for. If you had to just cut roof pitches only on one side, then this is the perfect square for you. So that's one of the reasons why I would return that. They should have made this ambidextrous. It would have been a better tool if it was ambidextrous, if you could flip it around, but you can't. So it's technically useless to me. I won't use it, but I'll use the pencil that's in there because now that I can't find mine, why not, right? Now we got a pencil. Thank God for the useless square. It had some use to hide a pencil that you almost kind of forgot was there. So this is the way I like to sharpen my pencils. Just expose the lead a little bit. And just use this part of your thumb to like push the knife through. This other one to control how the blade is working. So just get that pencil lead exposed from the wood. Right? There. That's how I sharpen my pencil. So now I'm going to put you guys over here just so you can kind of see the process of what we're doing here. We're not going to cut everything here because we just cleaned this area. But I'm going to hook on the end and we're going to go 51 inches. 51 inches will give us a tight measurement. And now we need to get the rip factor from the floor here. This is the rip factor. So you just bump it. It says 6 3/4. That's tight. On this end, it's a little bit bigger. It's 6 7/8. So obviously the cabinets aren't square, or the floor's not square. See if it's 6 7/8 everywhere though. 6 7/8, 6 7/8, 6 3/4. Right at that corner. So everywhere else is 6 7/8. We're gonna make it 6 3/4. We're making 6 3/4 because we need a little gap from the cabinets. So that should work out really nicely for us. This is a nice straight edge, so we can basically do our 6 3/4 all the way down this board. And then we can run our square down that. this is one of the reasons why. See how that I went past? Where the pencil is better? I can literally rub off any excess pencil, which is good. That means it's a good product. I can rub that off. So now, we've got our notch. We've got our notch going around the cabinet, and we have space in between the cabinet so we can push it back and click it in. I'm going to cut over here by the window. So I use this garbage can as my table for cutting. But first, I want to get the dog situated, not in the area where I'm cutting, because he's the most gorgeous animal alive, and I don't want him being subjected to the crazy ass loud noise of the saw. So, I'm going to take the bed we've been sleeping on, and that he's currently sleeping on, I'm going to put it in that area. Okay, watch out. This is how we've been keeping warm, these military sleeping bags. This way I can shut the door and he can't. This is what we've been sleeping on at night. Let some sun in. I'll even put his water out there. There you go, buddy. All right. We have got our saw ready to go here. So we let Chunks out. Look at him. He's just acting like a victim. You just locked me out. So I don't want him listening to the crazy sounds. So. I am a trained professional. Man, I almost can't even see that line now. Gonna have to do it again. There, I can see that better. Hide that pencil. There. We don't want to overcut it. Look at that, I just want you guys to see how straight that cut is. Never tried to eyeball on camera before. But like it's a straight cut. If you look down this edge, it's pretty much like perfect. Most people would use a table saw. But I am the table saw. We only got really a couple more crazy cuts and then we're done. Like for instance, if you want to be super perfect, I don't know if you could see that little guy there. Well, all we need, you could use a grinder or you could use a knife. One way or another, they both work. If I wanted to get real crazy with it, I could have just turned it around and ran the blade a little more. Ran the blade upside down at the end. So, here we are to the install. All right, that should go fairly smoothly. You just kind of, I'm gonna grab my flat bar because I'm gonna need that to kind of click everything in. And we may need our piece here. We got our tappy piece for tapping it in, for tippy tapping it in. Want to make sure we got a good angle when I'm not like right in the way of the camera shot. All right. So I'm going to kind of go from this side. I'm going to hook, basically going to hook the board back. Look at that. That actually works out really well. So if I just tilt everything. Seems like this edge is a little bit long from over here. I could always remove a pencil length off of that. Why was that so different from my measurement? Like if you see right here, I don't know if you can see that. We've got like a pencil distance. I want this pretty close to tight here. And when I measured it, it was 50 and 7/8. I don't know what happened, but this has been, I haven't even smoked a joint yet, so can't even blame it on any of that. Let's see what went wrong. It's no big deal, because I'll just cut some off that end. Let's see if ADHD played a role in this. What did I do? 51, so 50 and 7. Huh. For whatever reason, it's the same difference. Why isn't it? It's just a little bit short. Whatever. Look, we can literally just cut this edge off, and that'll be good. That'll give us the distance we need. That's just odd. You know, it's one of those things that it's exactly where I needed it. It might have been like an 1/8 over, but nothing crazy. I'm going to use a grinder for this one. It's a little bit quicker. And it takes a lot more dust than the saw. Okay. That should be 100% now. For whatever reason, it seemed to not want to go into that corner properly, so we just got a little shorter. We're going to be putting baseboard a little more tighter. I would like it, because there's not going to be any baseboard in there. So right now, I guess it is on the corner is a little bit of on an angle. So in that corner it's touching, but I got a space in the back. So I bet if I shave off if I just, because that same space I got there, I'm getting it right here on the inside. So if I just shave off a little bit from here, it'll fit nice. It's literally, it's like it's hitting the corner of the cabinet here, but I got a gap down here, so that means the cabinet's not straight. So that's why it's not working the way I want it to. So let us just shave look at that. So So just to give you some context, you see how this angle right there? That's how much I should shave off to get it to work. If the cabinets were straight, this nice straight piece would have went in perfectly. But they're not. Let's see. You really smell the plastic when you're cutting that with a grinder. Let's put your focus right over in this corner here. So we've got like a little bit of an angle now. This should fit in. Look at all that. That's all coming off the floor actually. This should fit in nice and perfect. You gotta kind of do this. Look at how much tighter we got. Got a bit of room there. Let's tap it over. Nice and tight now. Look at that. Now we're nice and tight over there too. Just give her a little tap in. It's already down. Yeah, that worked out nicely in the corner there. Perfect. And I'm fine with this little tiny. Again, the cabinets aren't very straight. So it's tight back here, but not as tight here. So I'm not going to cry over that. That's good. It is a floating floor. It's not supposed to be 100% tight anyways. So that worked out pretty good. If you see that gap right in the corner there, you almost can't see it. I can see it, but if I zoom in, you probably could see that little tiny gap there. You Russian? Am I Russian? No, I am not. I am not Russian, my friend. Do you know why I am not Russian? Because I don't rush anything. Oh, ho, ho. Anyways, stupid joke. Not Russian. Where do you think I'm from, actually? I just scratched my arm on this nail sticking out of the... It's literally a bunch of nails people have hammered in over the years. There's one right here. See that? Just put my arm on it like this and drug my arm down. Didn't cut myself, but it didn't feel good, that's for sure. All right, so now we've got that piece in. We've got to focus on the piece going from there to there. And after that, it's going to be kind of smooth sailing because I still have to finish around that pipe and in that corner. And once those things are done, we're done this part of the project in the kitchen. Then we got a little bit of more work to do. You see where that dog bowl is back there? That tile, we got to rip that up. But since we have experience in ripping up tile like we've done the most awkward way, but it worked. It worked out really good. So we're going to cut this piece now. Just going to Sabarova. Sabrova. It's an interesting name. So I need to cut a piece full length through here. We can leave a little bit of gap because the baseboards are going to cover it after. 37 and an 8. 3, 7, 1, 8. And then we need a straight edge here off the wall. 15 and 7/8. 15, 7/8. And what's our distance? We've got 3 1/4 tight. 3 1/4 tight. And then 3 1/2, of course. 3 1/2. So we've got to make it a little bit less than that. And then that's 3 1/4. So we need 3 1/8. 3 3/8. $15 and 7. All right. So this is the way we're going to construct this one. I'm going to give you guys a little play here. So we know this piece is going to come out like this, like that. I usually make a diagram if I'm showing somebody what I want. So from this point, which is the wall, to this point, which is the edge that it's going to click into, there to there, we got 37 and I think, 1/8. That's what I remember. 8. So then, from here to this edge, we've got, it was 15 and 7, I think. And 7/8. So that's how I know how far that rip is going to go. So back here, we've got 3 3/8. And that's going to cover that distance to that distance. So that's that width. And then from here, I'm going to just do a dotted line, point an arrow. And I'm going to put an R here. R for rip. R for rip. So you know it's going against the grain. And this piece is going to be 3 1/8. Because I need a little bit of room. So now when I make all these measurements, there's no way of failing this unless, something else catastrophic happens. But we're in the clear here. We've got like a couple more boards to cut. So I know I'm going to need this end that overlaps the it overlaps that floor corner right there. Get some knee pads. you'll be more efficient. I have knee pads, but I'm wearing shorts, and I don't like wearing knee pads and shorts. I'm actually pretty good at not having to kneel down. I have the framer back. And what the framer back does is it allows me to bend over without having to put my knees on the ground. I can even put my back against this wall here. You know how most of us live life. Back against the wall. Put my back against the wall. And I can just drop down without falling. And there I am. On the ground. I was a little bit too close to the wall. I could get up that way too. Okay, so first measurement. We hook on this edge. We go 37 and an eighth. Now I know that measurement goes square across. So we can literally just cut that edge, right? Then I'm going to need 3 3 3/8 on this one. And I know that we're 15 and 7/8. And then over here, is 3 1/8. So of course this cut's not going to be 100% straight because we've got to go on an angle. And just double checking my measurements. I'm going to come over here and double check again so we don't have nothing too crazy going on. I could even do this. This is 21 3/8 plus. But back here, yeah, you know what? We're going to do that one. Give it an 8 will do. We're going to go off of this because it's a straighter edge. I know that corner's not straight, so let's do that. So I'm going to go off of this end, 21, which basically is this end, 21 back to here. It's 21. Oh, I think it would have been pretty big. So 3/8. This is going to be really tight, though, at the same time. So, these 21 and 3/8. Boom. And then, I go from point to point, and I make my kind of crazy cut. So just so you guys can see what I was trying to visually show you in the drawing, that's what we got. 21 3/8. So we got 3 1/8 from this edge to there. Then, because this edge is bigger, 3 3/8. Total length 37 1/8. And then this piece gets cut out. So just so you can see that in real time as to how we're going to cut that. I just touched the line with my blade there. Here's another thing I'm going to do is the battery's dead. Alright, we got our battery. Now I'm also running the blade in reverse. Alright. And now I obviously stop it. Now I could flip it over and cut it from the side if it wouldn't fall off, but that doesn't matter because I got a knife. You can always clean up these edges with a knife. That little tiny corner that sticks out. So this should just snap in beautifully. Let's see how that does after we vacuum it off. Vacuum off both sides. And we'll just get our rag, clean up that little bit of a pencil mark that's there. Look at how beautifully this stuff just takes that pencil line away. Can't even see it. You can't even see it. So, let's direct your attention over this corner. This is where I should also vacuum that out there too. Let me bring the vacuum in. Let's watch the magic happen here. This one should go great, other than the last one. That last one was interesting. I'm going to look at that. It's like we knew what we were doing. Look at that beautiful cut. Take my tappy tool. Let me just, and then it falls. You can hear it once you knock it in, it just falls down to the ground. You can give it another tap. I like to, this is what I like to do for these corners. See how there's a seam there? I take my tappy tool and I just tap the corner in. Get that thing to seat. Move it to this edge. And just give her a final. This ensures that everything's sitting nice and perfectly. So there's that. The crazy part about all of this is that nobody's going to see. Will that fit all the way? No. I wonder if that other piece that cut off is long enough. Is this cut off long enough? It might actually be shorter than the other one. It is. Man. And I think this piece was going to work in that corner over there. Was this piece for this corner? Oh, it can't be because it has the wrong edge on it. All of these have the wrong edge on it. Okay, well, I guess if I have to cut one, I might as well cut one. We're dipping into the other box now. There's that box on the floor. That's the other box we got to dip into. So we've been doing pretty good. We really don't have a lot of scrap. This job I accounted for. It was 105 square feet, 106. So I got 130's worth of material. So we should have enough to do that front hallway. If not, we'll grab some more tonight. How many's in a box? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 planks in a box. So, I'm going to cut this in 2 ways. I'm going to cut it so that I have enough for over there. Just because I got a lot of these edges that I can't use to finish, but I can use to start. So, what we're going to do is we're going to cut that one. And then We're going to put a couple of these in place under the floor here. This is our way. We'll have like a seam back here and one full piece going across. So we'll put one seam in the very back and one full piece across, and that should be just enough. That should be just what we need. So let's actually, I'm going to direct your attention to there. So we need a piece for this corner. $124 3/4, and that's tight. So I'll go with 124 5/8. 124 5/8. Sorry, one piece at 24 5/8, not 124 5/8. So we need one piece at 24 5/8, and actually this piece should fit right there perfectly. Go 24 5/8. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I'll double check because I've messed up a few times last couple days. 24 5/8. Plus a little bit. $24 5/8. What do we got in between stove? Might as well cut that right after. Let's see what we got. Stove is usually 30 inches. This looks like a small stove. Let's see here. What do we got? What do we got? 30 and 3/8. 30 and 3/8. That's what we got. So that is what we're going to cut. Right here. And I'm going to cut that edge off. So let's go 30 and a half, and then after with the blade and everything. 30 and a half. It should be perfect length. Should be perfect length. Let's mark that. Now I know there's other people who are professional vinyl people. They got the special machines to cut it super quick. But I don't have that. So I use a skill saw. I've used a skill saw my whole life for almost everything. So it's just in how you use your tools, really. That's all that matters. You either got good tools or you don't got good tools. One or the other. So, look at all the dust in that thing. Like I said, I run the blade backwards. Look, see how the blade goes this way? Instead of going the right way, it's to make sure that you don't splinter the vinyl. Because you can splinter the vinyl. So I'm going to cut this first. Foot out so I don't damage the other floor. And then we're going to cut this guy. Like so. There. Nice and clean. Let's see if we're at 30 3/8. We're actually 30 and a half. It's a little tight. It might be too tight. I might have to shave. Let's give that a little clean. Let's just see if this is good enough for here or not. Because I actually left a little bit of space, but this might be just too tight. Like I said, it might be. Oh yeah. It's too tight. I should have left that 16th. Now, getting it out. Alright, we'll just shave it down with the grinder. Shave her down with the grinder. Look, I can literally, this is one way to get a good blade off of something. See that? That's how you make a perfect scribe. You just put the meat of your finger and then you hold your pencil in the exact spot. And you can have the perfect cut. That should be more than enough to make this piece fit perfectly. I just realized I should have all the lights on. Oh, this battery's dead too. We got one over here. That shaved her off nicely. All right. Let's make her fit now. Let's make her fit. Wow, I made that so tight that there it is. Let's get the tapper and tippy tap that baby home. There. Perfect. And now I can maybe this long one in. That leaves us with a really small piece. Let's put this guy in. Wow. The dimensions of this place is so much different. The last one, it hits the wall. Oh, that's right, look. There's a piece of drywall here and not here. So that's a 1/2 inch where it's not touching the wall. Because like over here, it's touching the wall. Touching the wall. I'm like, why isn't it touching the wall here? It's not, I didn't change any of the directions, but it's because there's a piece of drywall here, and if it went all the way down, it would actually be touching that edge. So we're gonna just probably leave that like that, because obviously they have a gaping hole in the side there. And to remedy that hole, we can actually just put a sheet of drywall on that and fix that for future. And you're not going to see it behind there, that little tiny baby gap. So all I need to do is cut me a piece for there. Realistically, you should have at least 8 inches from the, we're just like 7.5. But if we went 9 and just took a piece off that end, we can do that. So well, we got this piece cut for down here. All we got to do is make our basically round around that pipe. Then we can install that one, and then the next one, and then the kitchen floor is done. So I'll grab my pencil. And that's perfect. We're going to make a line all the way through. And then we can't do the same with the square, but we can do it with this. So we're going to make it nice and tight. What we have here is 5.5. Move this so it's 5.5. And then we can do that. And lucky for us, we've got this thing, so we could literally just pull it up and bring it to exactly where we would see it on the marks. And then we can just kind of make this mark. It's crazy. I can smell fabric softener, but the dryer is not running. So that just tells me how toxic fabric softener actually is. So that's the round. We're gonna modify it a little to try to get it more round. And we're gonna use the zippy saw on that. So that's what we gotta basically cut. So we can use the zippy saw. Now what I can do is make a bunch of no, those don't like to stay. Okay, now we can obviously don't cut the countertop. Okay, I know that looks crude, right? But that's what the grinder is for. We just clean up whatever edge. And you know what? I should probably be wearing glasses for this. There's a lot of things that I haven't worn glasses for, but I should wear them for this. So let's clean up this edge. I can still see the pencil line, so that's what I'm going with. It's pretty good. Just want to see where the line is. And then I could come from the top. Okay. It's pretty good. Now, let us install it. Pretty tight. Obviously made it a little bit tight. gonna take a little more off. It shouldn't be that tight. That's pretty tight. Alright. I don't want to damage the pipe. So, I'm going to make a little bit of an adjustment on this. It'd be good if I had a clamp. I don't have one of those. So let's just do that pencil trick all the way around. That's how much we should remove off of it. Let's grab this other battery now that it's charged. Oh, can't be charged, it wasn't plugged in. Let me see if I have one of them smaller batteries. Unless it's on that drill. No, that's a bigger one. I want the smaller battery because it makes wielding this a little bit easier. I'm going to see if it's easier. You know, I just realized I have a rotozip that will make that look just a touch cleaner. Let me grab that. I should have actually used this before. I don't know why I forgot about it. But this is a great tool. It's a spiral saw, but I got no actual guide on it. So we're gonna just kind of freehand this. It would have been so much easier to do this the first time. Alright, that'll fit around the pipe. It's not like perfect, but it's perfect enough that no one's going to notice it behind the dryer. So, like so, clipped in. Oh. All right. Then my tapping tool. Now it's in nicely. Tapping tool. Beautiful. It's perfect. The vent sits nicely. Now we can put, oh yeah, I gotta cut this off because it won't go in with this edge. So we gotta trim the edge a little bit. basically are just trimming that edge. Hello to everybody who is saying hi. Thank you. Thank you for everything. So, let's just cut this edge off. And I cut it on a little bit of an angle. Put a little bevel on it. So it can work. Let's bring that back over to the workstation and see how well this ends up. I want to make sure I have these between the wall, because wow, that's really tight. That little bit in that corner, I gotta take a little out of there. I'm just gonna do that angle trick I did last time, where we just take a slight bit out of that. You can't see it, but I can. Just because a lot of the times the corners aren't straight. So when they're not straight, you gotta make, see there's that mark I just made with that tool? Basically, just comes out a little bit. I'm going to be cutting off a small amount like that. And that should make it fit. Let me vacuum. See how much dust came off of that? That's why I don't use the grinder too much. It makes a lot of fine dust. That's the other reason why I put my dog in the other room. He shouldn't have to suffer alongside of me. So, I have to shape that corner slightly, but wow, that went in perfect. See that? Now we just done. Everything's done in the kitchen except for that one piece behind the stove. So I want you to pay close attention. We tried putting 0 seams in front of the door or walkway. There's literally one. Everything else is out of the way of traffic. We hid all the seams in places where you won't see them. So we have that one piece to go, but I should really not even cut up anything for that one piece because we've got to destroy all this tile here. So I might even put on the knee pads for this. So we're gonna start smashing up this. Oh, the glass is popping out of that. I should move your bed, Chunks, because I don't want you in front of all this stuff. You know? I might have to put you in one of the rooms for now. Or maybe we'll put you in this room back here. This is a nice big spacious room for Chunks. Let's there. We'll put you in here. This way you're not in the way and you don't have to listen to all the clanging and banging. My gorgeous animal would have to be subjected to. We're trying to keep everything clean for this beautiful guy. We're getting a window spot for Chunk here. There. There you go, my beautiful guy. Look at this beautiful thing. This dog gets everything he needs. Okay, you gotta stay in here because I don't want the noise to bother your ears, okay? So stay in there. We're gonna actually come out here and chip up this floor. You're gonna get rid of that. We're getting rid of that floor. We don't need that floor anymore. And at least he's in the other room, far away from having to listen to the rattling that's going to ensue here in a few minutes. Right now. So we originally started, I don't know if you could see that crack on the floor. There's a crack right there. Here, let me show you where the crack is. Crack is it's right there. You can see the crack? Yeah. There's also, where's the other crack? There's another crack right here, 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 and here. I'm glad he's going back to the room. I don't want him to have to be subjected to the smashing. So, yeah. We gotta fix all those things. Time for a water break. Holy crap. Man, I drank the tap water here the other night. That didn't agree with me. So right now, I'm drinking bottled water, and I don't even like drinking that. But first and foremost, we need to pull off that trim going around there. And I wonder if, you know what? This may just work perfectly if I shine this across the floor. Look at that. Let there be light. And there was light. So I usually use a hammer to pull up. Are these screws? They are. Little baby screws. I'm going to grab the screwdriver. Apparently there's little baby screws in there that don't fit what I got right now. Let me find the right screw for that. Where the hell did I put them out here? I have to put them out here. That's where the other tools are. I wonder if this one will fit. Oh, that's a really tiny. Man, that's so small. Do I even have a little bit that small? Man, that's like, it's like micro machine small. That's pretty tiny. Still doesn't fit. Damn it! We might just have to resort to ripping it up. Yeah. Maybe I could use a star? A really fine tip. Will that work? That might work. Let's try that. Let's try that. Let's try that. Well, that might work. Yep. Don't need all this here. Let's get that out of the way. And then we need my little flat bar. Let me grab the flat bar. Where did I put the flat bar? Flat bar! I thought I had the flat bars when I came out. Now I don't know where I put them. That's kind of crazy. I guess what I'll use. Let's put them out here. Let's try the drywall lifter. Okay. That comes in handy. It was screwed into the floor. Take all these. little brass screws out. All right. Oh, put these here. Okay, we're gonna have to get the Super Smasher. Actually, you could probably even just use this little guy. What do you want? No, don't go that way. Those shards will cut your feet. Go back and lay down. No! That's why I said no. Sometimes you gotta yell at them. They're like kids. They don't hear you till you yell sometimes. All right. All right, let's get the garbage can. at least we don't have a lot of mortar to chip off the floor like we did in the kitchen. That's good. Alright, let's see if we can get hello everyone, said hi's. JFK jogs. JFK, the jogs, I will be doing that when it's not minus 40 outside. It's been pretty cold, and Chunks can't handle the cold outside. Man, there's a lot of caulking on that floor. And I gotta remove. Way easier than it was in the kitchen. Okay. Now that that's all ripped up, I think we got to do the same technique in some places. In other places, the mortar was dry. So, as you can see, in some places the mortar is really dry and it comes up easy, but then in other places, I assume they started to lay the tiles in this corner. By the time they got to that corner, the mortar dried out and didn't get a good connection with the plywood, because this stuff is really dry, that stuff's easy to come off. So let's get our broom out. We will just give a quick sweep. Let's see what else we can get off with this machine here. You got like a little shard of what's it called under my fingernail there. All right, so it's coming up okay. Not like how I wanted to, but all right, let's try this way now. Not doing too bad. Wonder if there's a setting to get louder. No. All right, let's see. I might have to sand the rest. See, originally what I was having a problem with, but now it's a little bit more dull. I was having a problem with chipping the floor without ripping up the plywood. I'm going to do one last thing. I'm going to switch. This is a bit sharper, this bit. Try this one first. And let's turn this thing so it sits flat. Let's try it. Ooh, that's really sharp. Too sharp. All right, let's bring out the vacuum. Now we're going to hook up the sander to it. Okay, so if you've ever watched my channel, you've seen this tool before. This is my palm sander, amazing tool. We got 40 grit sandpaper. That should clean up whatever is left over on the floor. All right, now I'm going to put on my knee pads. Put those knee pads on. So I'm just gonna switch out the paper. Paper's a little. I could probably still use it, but I don't want to sit here for another half an hour standing. So watch how fast. Watch how fast that's the new 40 grit. That's the old 40 grit. You can see this one, you can actually feel. This one still got grip, but not as much as we'd like. We got a couple small patches here. But once we put this new 40 grit on, you watch how quickly it's going to chew up anything left over. It would help to suck up the dust if I actually turned the vacuum on. I can switch the hoses. Basically done with this attachment. We don't need our knee pads anymore. Oh, look who decided that it was safe to come out. Alright. Well, that's not bad. I need enough to do the trim around. Which is just enough. So we need to screw this stuff down. And this is basically the channel that's going to lock the transition cap in. There's a transition cap that's going to go over there. And we'll just get the grinder for that. And this guy. Perfect. So we got the transition cap. Got the transition cap. Now we've got to, I'm actually just going to put this light here. It probably would work better. You can see that area a little bit better now. All right. Bye, JFK. All right, now we're going to grab our screw gun and our bit. I'm just getting my screws to screw down that strip. I probably got to grab some more screws. I'm going to leave like a little bit of a gap around the border. What can we use as a spacer? A piece of cardboard. That should work. This right here. That's going to be my spacer. Man, I don't have enough screws. I gotta get another pack, and then I'll have enough to finish this and that one there. Okay, I guess I got to go get some more screws to finish screwing this down. So maybe I should end the live or cut a couple boards first. You know what? I'll cut a couple boards first. I'll basically come to this edge, and then we'll come to basically, just because I can lay this in, kind of go from there. Open to, yeah, it should go under that door nice and easy. So we got 6 planks. We'll just have enough. Hooah! I'll grab the tapey measure and 50.5. That's tight. Let's go 50 3/4. Let's see how that works. So I will direct your attention to the fact that we're cutting over there. And since I need a piece down there, see that little spot right there? We're going to cut it so we can get that piece out of this end. Because it ain't going to matter. It ain't going to matter. What did I say that was? 51? We'll just have enough. 50 3/4, I think I said. 50 3/4. That's what we're going to start with. 50 3/4 here. So that end is going to go underneath the wall. 50 3/4. See what this piece is. This piece is 7.5. So we can cut 2 pieces right now. Oh, I found my bit. $50 3/4. And then I need 7.5. For that other one. $7.5. may as well wear earplugs while I do this. That's my piece for the stove. That's my piece for the front. Okay, let's see how that gets installed here. We'll slide. Should just slide underneath everything. Oh, that would be too easy though. If it slid. I guess I gotta cut. I probably don't have to though. Let's see. I may have to. Trim looks a little high there. Let's grab the zippy tool. We'll grab the zippy tool. We'll raise everything just enough. Everything else fits. Let's see here. I think this piece was kind of yeah. I'm just gonna zippy tool that area. That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, it's pretty much right against the. We'll make it fit. It's like barely anything too. It doesn't do me any good when the piece keeps falling down. Son of a. This is why I love Flex tools. They're so versatile. Okay, I think that should be it for the cutting stuff out. Alright though, now that I did all that, I definitely want to vacuum again. Let's vacuum. Slide underneath that now. Oh, ho, ho. Let's see if I can tap it back a little bit farther. See what our measurement looks like. Looks like things aren't very square. We need schwer. Let's see what our distance is from here. $29. What do we got here? Oh, it's like a half-inch difference. I wonder what's behind the wall there. Feels like there's some more wood back there. Alright, I guess I gotta cut this side too. There's gotta be something there. Yeah. I really could just notch it. I could just notch it. $11.5. That's what I'm going to do. That's going to be easier to notch it than it's going to be to try to cut all the wood underneath. So I'm just going to take a 1/2 inch from here for 11 inches. So 11 inches is right here. I'm going to take a 1/2 inch out of this end. And that should basically get us somewhere here. So we're going to do this back 11 inches. And do from this side 11 inches. Take a 1/2 inch out of that board. That should fix everything. Let's try that. So we got that little bit of a notch, and that should work. Right where that corner is, right there. Slide it underneath here. Oh, almost. I gotta lift this piece of wood that keeps falling. So we don't end up damaging the man, that fits perfect. Look at that. We used to have a little bit of a gap right there, but now it fits perfect. I can measure this and it's going to land beautifully. So what do we have here? 29 last time. 29 and 29 and 1/8. I'm not going to cry for an 1/8. Well, that worked out pretty good. 29. The only thing I might want to do is, let me just make sure this transition strip covers that. It should. See, once we're done, we'll lock this in over top. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, just enough. Problem though is that I might have to actually make a strip of wood underneath this to raise it up enough. It's supposed to clip into that, but this floor is too high. Ha! Ha ha ha. But that does cover. That's good. Alright, well, what we're going to do is just going to cut these last few pieces and then I guess we'll call her a day. Even though we only worked a few hours. But, yeah. We're getting closer and closer. This next one's going to be a little bit longer though. Because now we're going to slip that underneath. That track. That's going to be a little bit of an issue because that track needs to be removed. All right, let's remove that door. Oh. We need a star. Or I can actually use a knife. Well, that's going to fuck up my knife now. And try to find Oh, that's where that other battery went. I knew it was somewhere. There's a flathead. Put that in. This thing's basically not even attached to anything. Another carpet transition strip. The hell is this? Oh, it's like a weed. Cartridge thingy. Somebody lost. Okay, let's get our star. We need a star screwdriver now. We just keep taking more and more stuff apart. At least now I can clip the floor in there. And I gotta vacuum that now. I'm gonna put a little tiny piece there. Crazy. $52.25. $52.25. And then I need a little tiny corner piece to fit in here, which is another 1.5 inches by 1.25 inches. Crazy. 52 1/4. 1.5 by 1.25 I think. That's what we had. Now we're just gonna cut what we're cutting. And then I need this piece, 1.5 by 1.25 1.25. That's my little baby piece. Put that there. And then we'll cut this one. Alright, back to here. If you look into this corner, right there, that's where this little guy goes. Put this guy. I'll hammer it in. Of course, there's a fucking nail right there. You bastard. Of course there would be a nail right there. Fuck. There we are. Didn't see that until I hammered this in. It's a screw. Might be able to just drive it in to the ground. Let's see, that should just drive in. Okay. Let's try that again. Are you kidding me? Now you're a little bit too long. Fuck. Somehow I gotta cut an 1/8 of an inch off of that. Ah! Guess I'll do it with the grinder. Right before your very eyes. So we're gonna take off like that much. That's gonna be fun. Okay. It's lucky that I'm pretty steady with my hands. What's he doing down there? Trying to install a little tiny baby piece. Baby piece. It's like the tiniest amount. Wow. I'm just gonna smash it. That's what I'm gonna do. I could actually maybe pull the board slightly out. How can I do that? Let's try this. No, that didn't work. I need perfect a screwdriver. Oh! I was able to pull it out. Just enough. Just enough. Man, it's all kinds of silliness right there. Now we can install this piece. Perfect. So that was 52 and a quarter. Look at. Now we've got another one in place. Beautiful. And I may just do 52 on the next one. Yeah. 52 should be enough. Next piece. $52. We got one more, and then we got a. Looks like it's gonna be a little baby strip. One more, and then a little baby strip. Wow, we just. It's actually insane, I gotta say, that I basically have just enough to do everything without the baseboards. I didn't calculate the baseboards, but we'll do another 52. That seems to be what works. You're gonna be like that, are you? The fucking doorway's gonna be the problem now. Notch out that little bit. I literally have a 2-inch, a 1-inch strip that I gotta lay down. That's crazy. Okay, let's start. Oh! I gotta cut out this little bit here. Let me do that. Right here somewhere. Okay, that should work now. See if we can make that work. Of course we can make that work. I'm gonna see if I can actually lift it slightly. I can't because that fucking transition strip is in the way. I have to take more out. Alright. Try not to do this. See if that works. There. There. Reflection of me. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Look at what we've done. So we've ripped up this floor. We've slid it underneath the door jamb. Even with the little baby piece, but we'll be putting all this stuff back so you won't see any of that. We've got a little tiny strip to put in there. And we have one board left. Oh, wait. Oh, it's too bad we can't use that. That would have been perfect if we could have used that. Whatever. And now we have our last board to put in that I hid under this pile of stuff. I can only use the claws. So we got this guy going down there. And this actually shouldn't be too hard. I forgot I need my tool. For closing up the joints. So this guy, oh, I found a piece of stuff over there. Oh, what did I measure? I guess I was supposed to cut this other one because I was making that 8 inches exactly. So let me pull this one out. We'll put the small one in. Right? And then we gotta cut. I'm gonna cut that much off first. All right, last cut of the day. Last cut of the day. We are at the last cut of the day. Everybody, feels good to be pretty much done. And I'll put this one in. What the hell did I do? Why is it so much more? Oh my God, what did I do this time? How come it's that much shorter? All right, well, the good thing is we have extra pieces. I don't know what I did. It should have been perfect. But I have another piece that I could probably use that literally I'm just gonna measure it. I can use this piece. I didn't need to cut that other one. So we're just gonna second last cut of the day. So we got 22 and 1/8. Twenty-two and 1/8. 22 and 1/8. Oh, you know what why I think it was short? Because I measured from here and not here. That's why it was short. That's why it was short. Little things you learn, eh? Alright, let's cut that nice and square. Over there. Over there, nice and square, my son. Last cut of the day. There we are. There we are. Last cut of the day. Oh! Okay. Pull this out. Throw this one in. Move that one over. Slap this one in. Oh my God. Last cut of the day worked out. And there you have it. All the floor is in except for one piece. Let's give you a little tour for what we got going on. So we started in that area, worked our way around, cut in, got that strip to put in, cut all the way here, cut around that pipe, and the kitchen's done. There's a lot of dust everywhere. I'll have to clean everything. And then we got this little strip to put in, put the closet back, closet door back. And then I'm pretty sure I gotta raise this transition strip so that it works. That's gonna be interesting. Taxes, Mickey Jack, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking and sharing and commenting and telling all your friends about how amazing this channel is for you to learn how to do stuff and how not to do stuff. How to raise a dog, how not to raise a dog. How to live your life, how not to live your life. You guys have a great night. Thank you. Bye.